Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved immortal beings, and good-looking people. Maybe you're good-looking, so always looking for and finding the good. You found good in abundance because you tuned in consciously and conscientiously to Eye on Las Vegas with your humble host, Barry Shore, known as the Ambassador of Joy. Now, notice I didn't say the ambassador of joy, the ambassador of joy. And in this show, we bring to you some of the most interesting, electric, eclectic beings on the planet, because that's what Las Vegas is all about. It's a place of freedom. It's a place of creativity, a place of artistry. You're going to meet a great one in just a little bit. So I want to mention something. When I travel around the world and I talk to people all over the world, and I can tell you, if I mention two words, everybody leans in and says, huh, tell me more. And these two words are Las Vegas. Wow. Why? Because the place is electric. It's a place of freedom. We call it the Tortuga of the world. If you know that reference, you'll look it up. It's like the Pirates Cove. Things happen that are good, and you can do things and make things happen here. So I'm going to give you an insight to something. If you take the entire population of New York City and everything around it, the entire population of Chicago and everything around it, the entire population of Los Angeles, all the millions around there, and you add them all together, it doesn't come to the number of people that come to and through Las Vegas in any given year. More than 41 million people come here because this is a place that is active and aware and growing and beautiful, actually. And I'm going to introduce you to somebody who really fits that bill. So I'd like you to welcome right now one of the most interesting, eclectic, fabulous people ever going to meet. And his name is Bailey Chase. Bailey, please say hello to 501,923 people around the world.
Hello, everybody. And wow, what an intro. Thank you so much, Barry. I can't wait.
Okay, well, we're going to call him BC for the moment. And
Fine.
that actually may have reference to what he's involved in. So anybody who has been aware of what's happening in the film industry is by now aware of an amazing movie. It's called Homestead. And it's not just a movie, it's a series, and it's a statement. And Bailey is one of the stars of the movie, and that's why I'm honored and humbled that he's here with us today, because we're going to talk about what it means, what it is, and what it bodes for people in today's very complex world. However, before we do that, I just want to mention a couple things about Bailey. Number one, he's a great guy. You can tell if you're only going to listen to him, you'll hear by his voice. And if you're seeing him now, you see that big smile. So Bailey was born to be a communicator. Some people call that an actor. Okay, that's what he really is. He's a communicator. He's communicating great, important ideas. He played football. He wanted to be an actor. He went to LA, and he's been involved in so many different projects. You can drop some names of places and things you've been involved in. That's fine. What I'd like you to do now, let's just jump right in, Bailey, and tell people the most important thing about you. You're married, and you have three kids. There's nothing more important, because that is the anchor that really relates to Homestead. So let's just talk right away and jump right in. What the heck is Homestead, and why should anybody be caring about watching the movie?
Well, anybody who's paying attention to what's going on out there in the world, you probably, if you have any sense, that it's a good thing to be prepared in life and to never need it, right? So one of my favorite quotes growing up, as you referenced, I was an athlete. I was big into baseball and football, and was just good enough to play those in college. And then when the NFL didn't come calling, I pivoted back to my boyhood dream of becoming an actor and moved out to LA with $1 and a dream back in the late '90s. And then you talk about
it's like kind of a textbook. I love it.
Yeah, it is kind of a textbook, and that dream was always. So I went to college in North Carolina. It was always my dream to come back here, and I feel like I'm at that stage in life. The '90s, it makes you sound like a dinosaur at some point, but life has come full circle, and here I am, living the dream with my wife and 3 young children here in the mountains of North Carolina, and I just feel so blessed. So going back a few years ago with COVID and everything else that was happening, I just felt my wife and I, Amy, felt like we needed to make a move to do what was best for our children, and I didn't know if I was going to be able to continue to be an actor, and so we moved here 3.5 years ago, and the kids are thriving, and we live in a great community, and it's the kind of thing where the kids can just go outside, and the neighbors. Most of them are, borderline. They're either empty nesters or about to be, and so they just love having the younger kids around, and I can just see it in their eyes when we're talking that they get to relive when their children were younger. And you're right, it's the most important job in the world. It's the best job in the world. I wouldn't trade being, a husband and a father for anything. And then, when I was in the green room before we started, I was like, I took a break from doing my taxes, and just everything I make, it goes right to them. And it's great. But so back to your question, Homestead, it's just, on the surface, it might feel like, okay, I got to get my stuff together. I got to be ready. But at its core, it's really about protecting your family. So it's about friends, family, and building community. It's an extreme circumstance in Homestead, but it wouldn't take a lot of imagination for us for that to actually happen in the real world. And doing it has affected me. And again, I don't believe that these are just coincidences that are happening in my life and in life in general. I left LA, kind of turned my back on Hollywood, not knowing what was going to happen. And about a year later, the offers started to come in. I didn't know of Angel Studios. Barry, I don't know how familiar you are with them, but man, what a great company. And I just saw Sound of Freedom. That was my introduction. And I started praying about it, and I put it out there, and I said, hey, I had this TV show that I had just written called Appalachia, set here in the Appalachian Mountains. And a month later, the phone rang. I got offered Homestead. I'm on a plane out to Utah. I meet all the Angel folks. Most Hollywood studio executives, they come down to the set, and they're in their, suits and ties, and like you could tell, like if they might as well have a sign, like studio.
I'm an
check.
executive in the
And
studio.
the Angel Studios guys, yeah, they show up in like puffer jackets and hiking boots, and I'm like, these are my guys. This is who I want to work with. And yeah, you're right next door in Nevada, so you get it. So yeah,
let me put you on pause for a moment, because it's really powerful what you're saying. Everything you want to know about Bailey and about Homestead and about Angel Studios is going to be in the show notes. I want to add a little bit of an asterisk, which is a star, and they deserve it. Angel Studios is one of the great channels of goodness in the world. And the ability to bring forth fine, important family entertainment. And let's be blunt, even though Homestead is a post-apocalyptic family drama, it is entertaining in the sense that it tickles you and says, well, wait a minute. Part of it says, yay, and part of it says, oh my gosh. And that's great, because you want a movie that has emotion, don't you?
Absolutely. Yeah. And for anybody who hasn't seen it, you're gonna feel all the feels. And Jeff is the character that I play, Jeff Erickson, former operator who gets called in by Neil McDonough's character, Ian Ross, who's the billionaire prepper guy. And I don't want to throw out too many spoilers, but
you can do spoilers. It's okay.
Something bad happens, and then I need to go to the Rockies to protect the homestead, and that's that's where the film gets its title. And so something bad brings us all together, but then something very positive comes out of that. And the other thing, we started shooting the series now, and the other thing that happened here in the mountains of North Carolina in between the feature and the series was Hurricane Helene hit. And while devastating, tragic, obviously, people lost their lives, but it really brought the community together a lot stronger. We're rebuilding. So, and another thing that I'm doing, and I have not said this publicly to anyone. So Barry, here we go. My New Year's resolution was to read the Bible. I never got through it, So many years on this planet, I never got through it. Yeah. And I'm at the end of numbers right now, so I still got a long way to go. But it's just real interesting, and it's this is the path that I want to be on. Then that's I've been praying to God the last couple of years since I moved here. Like, just put me where you need me, and I truly believe I'm right where I need to be at the right time. I get a little frustrated. Personally, I want things to happen a little bit quicker, but he's just humbled me, and he's put me here in this position, and now we have this beautiful film Homestead and a series, and we're getting ready to go back to Utah in a couple months to
Well,
finish up the first
the
season.
H word for homestead and the H word for humility are both together,
Right there.
and the greatest place to be. And everything happens in the right time.
Yeah.
That's right. And by the way, here's a gift for you. Bible is a wonderful acronym. It stands for, ready for this?
hmm
Basic instructions before leaving Earth.
It's good.
Like that?
I do. I've never heard that before.
Well, that's why I
So
gave it to you. That's my gift to you.
thank
So,
you.
and you can mark this in your calendar, put it in your Bible, and say, Barry just told me basic instruction before leaving Earth. That's the Bible. That's why I'm here. I'm going to ask you a question because I come from a different era. And in my era, there was a wonderful, interesting movie based on a book called Swiss Family Robinson, about a family that was shipwrecked on an island and now had to make do and take care of themselves before they got rescued, if they ever going to get rescued. And so to me, I made that analogy with Homestead. It seems like Swiss Family Robinson in the 21st century. Is that a fair analogy?
That's pretty good. I don't know Swiss Family Robinson.
Swiss Family Robinson. You got to look it
Yeah,
up.
I've heard of it, but I've
Okay,
never
so
seen
first of
it.
all, if you want to read the book, that's great. When Disney was still a place where they made good communication things called films, they made a film and it was good.
Okay.
But that was 50 years ago.
Sure.
It's worth it to find. It's great for the kids. So
Yeah.
I'm using that as an analogy because when we talk about post-apocalyptic and things like that, it sounds dark. And what you're bringing to us is that it's darkness before the dawn. And I think that's what Homestead is really about, is it not?
That's exactly what it's about, and where we go in the TV show that picks up where the film left off, and then ultimately, obviously, we'll have to leave the homestead, but yeah, it's very biblical in its message, and yeah, I think people are going to love it, and the Angels obviously the perfect fit. That's a perfect home for it. And again, I just feel like a messenger right now, and I've got about 2 more months before the snow melts out there in Utah before we can get back to shooting again. But I really just can't wait.
Very good. Okay, on that, everybody's on the edge of the seat because I have many more questions I want to ask you. Right now, we're going to go to a quick break. We have sponsors. We wouldn't have them on if we didn't think they're worthy of your time and attention. We'll be right back with amazing Bailey Chase. Don't go away because there's more goodness for you on the other side of this message. Be right back.
What if you could shop at your favorite local stores, swipe your current credit card, and get extra cashback rewards? And what if you could also have donations sent to your favorite cause at no extra cost to you? What if this amazing program was absolutely free and very simple to set up? Well, What If is here. Welcome to Einstein Cares, where your everyday shopping gives you and your favorite cause extra money. It's fast, it's easy, and effortless.
Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved, immortal beings, and good-looking people. You'll be good-looking because you're always looking for and finding the good. Our cup runneth over with good. His name is Bailey Chase, and he is the star of an amazing movie and a series called Homestead. And it is Darkness Before the Dawn. Oh my gosh. Where did Bailey go? Bailey, where did you go? Please come back. Oh, Bill Bailey, won't you please come home? Bailey, if you can hear this, I need you to come back in. Somehow you got removed from here. Hello? Okay, so we'll continue with wonderful Bailey. We've been discussing his movie called Homestead.
back?
Okay, there you. Well, let's see. You know something?
The man heard us. He had to,
Right.
he tried to cut us off. I was like, no, I'm not leaving Barry hanging. I'm still here.
Yeah, this is just too much fun. I
That's
want to
right.
talk about the movie in some depth right now. And again, I'm encouraging everybody. I mean, everybody, make time and effort to watch the film. And if you can't watch it in the theaters, find a way to stream it. It's going to be available. Now, remember, we have people all over the world watching, and everybody in the world wants to come to America. You know that? It's really true. You can experience something of what's the genius of America, which I think what Homestead is all about, which is being prepared and making things happen, no matter the circumstances. Let's talk about that, Bailey. Well, I'll call you Jeff for the moment, right? Because that's what you play this amazing character, Jeff. He's an ex-Green Beret. How did you prepare for this? I mean, let's say you're a big guy. You played football. You played sports. How do you prepare mentally to be a Green Beret? In other words, Green Berets have a certain status in life. How do you prepare for that?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And, fortunately, I've been very blessed and I've had the opportunity to play some real life heroes in my career. None greater than Jeff Kirkham, who my character Jeff is based on. He lives out there in Utah, so we were able to spend a little bit of time together right before I started shooting. And once I read the feature script, I just had some questions. And the biggest one, I don't know if you ever saw the film Hurt Locker, and Jeremy Renner's awesome.
Yes, what a fabulous movie. Fabulous.
He's so great.
Movie.
The last time I was in Vegas was for his charity golf tournament for renovations. And if you don't know it, check it out. It helps kids in need.
Jeff was the person in Foot Locker. No, Hurt in
Jeremy Renner's in the Hurt Locker. Mm-hmm. And there's a scene in Hurt Locker where he comes back home. Yes. And there's a similar scene in the grocery store where he just doesn't know how to fit in. And there's a scene in the opening of Homestead, and I'm in the garage and my hand is shaking, and so most of my career, I played guys who had it all together. Then I was on this show called Longmire, sort of a cowboy cop show, where over the course of the series, he falls apart. Well, in Homestead, I'm a guy who's barely hanging on. So you see in the first few minutes of the film, that's very well established. You see a picture of my team. I'm looking at the reflection in the mirror, and I'm trying to pull it together before I go in to have breakfast with my family. And so I talked to Jeff about this. I was like, what is it like? And he, he told me shared his experience, and he's like, yeah, I would be, on the battlefield, fly home, and within 24 hours, I've gone from the battlefield to being in my living room. It's a very surreal experience, and you don't really have much time to transition. So getting to pick his brain, he was very candid and open with me, so that was a blessing. Definitely helped my performance. He also has helped me tactically. He saw a couple things in the film, and he's like, all right, we're going to clean that up. And when I get to play one of these guys, I want to get every moment right. I really am a perfectionist, and I don't want to disservice them in any way. But he loved the performance. I think it's probably the best of my career. Not just what was there on the page and who I was working with, but also what I've experienced in life through being, a father and a husband, and going through the, trying times that we've had the last few years. Like you said, humility, it just makes you a better, stronger person. My grandmother, who grew through the depression, survived the depression, she said, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And we all went through a lot the last few years, and here we are on the other side, better, stronger. And, I just put God first and keep going. And I can't wait to see what tomorrow brings.
Well, first of all, we are thankful that you're involved, and you are, and again, big bravo to Angel Studios and directors and such for willing to listen when constructive criticism comes in. In other words, when Jeff said, well, and clean it up, that working together as a team. So team is a wonderful acronym, by the way, that stands for together, everyone achieves miracles.
Ooh, I like
Yeah,
that.
not like you
That's
thought
good.
the regular one. Together, everyone achieves miracles. And that's what Homestead is. Homestead is a miracle. Everybody needs to go see it. Yes, I'm plugging the movie. I have no, financial interest in it. I have an interest in people experiencing the movie, not seeing the movie, experiencing the movie. And I'm so glad about that there's a series coming. So let's talk a little bit about the series, because to be able to have a movie in today's environment, first of all, is not a small thing. To be able to do sequels and prequels, okay, people sort of expect that. To be able to now bring it as into a series, as you said, it's going to be on television. Is that correct?
Yeah, so right now, and actually the film, as of about a week ago, started streaming on the Angel Studios app. So everything that we've shot is now up on the Angel Studios app. You just gotta head over to angel.com and it's all there. And if you don't want to do it for me, or if you don't, you could do it for Neil McDonough. He's another outspoken, believer, actor, along with Jim Caviezel. And this, we've all found a new home in Angel, and you just go there or check it
Okay,
out. Let
this
me
is
know what you
fabulous.
think.
I'd like
And I
you
can
to.
take it. I'm a big boy. If if you're like, hey, you weren't holding your gun right, and I wasn't always, let me know, and I want to fix it for next season.
So, in a minute, can you pull out a particular scene which for you was either revelatory or gut wrenching?
Yeah, there's this scene towards the end of the movie where, Jeff feels the weight of the world on his shoulders because everybody's safety is essentially in his hands, everyone in the homestead. And he has a moment where he gets to be humble and vulnerable with his second in command. There's a borderline mutiny that's going to happen. Um, and it was really interesting to play such a strong character and yet have this moment where I didn't know if it was going to work out, and that was a really interesting scene, really interesting thing to play, um, and it was cool. It was cool to see me um, be so vulnerable in that moment.
So, when you watch yourself on screen after the film has been edited and released,
Mhm.
what do you see?
For the first time, I didn't really see myself. I saw a guy who was doing everything he could and was barely hanging on, and that was interesting. Where some of the, like Branch, for example, and a Longmire, he had a lot of swagger about him. And then, Bailey's got, a little bit of that, and the college football, and I've been very blessed, had a lot of success in my career. But as I get older, I've started looking for the flaws in the humanity and all the characters that I play, and even Branch fell apart at the end, and it's a very rewarding thing to do. Now I can get no bigger compliment as an actor to when a fan comes up and said, "Hey, that was my favorite show and my father's favorite show, and we watched it, like the last days of his life, and it was the only thing that gave him joy there at the end." Like, I mean, how can anybody give me a better compliment than that? So
I can't. So here's I'm going to
can't.
give you another gift. So
Okay.
the acronym for joy, you're going to love this. Ready?
Yeah.
Journey of you.
Mm,
That's the ultimate joy,
yeah.
recognizing your journey. So as
Yeah.
you said, right now, part of your new journey is reading
Mhm.
the Bible
Yeah.
and experiencing the word and feeling it and recognizing that it's not something alien, it's not something out there, it is
Mhm.
part and parcel of one's life.
Mhm.
Because these are words of wisdom. That's what WOW stands for, by the way. WOW
Words of
stands for
wisdom.
words of wisdom.
Yeah.
So when you pick up your Bible, just say to yourself, wow. And say, thank you, Barry Shore. Okay.
Thank you, God, and thank you, Barry Shore.
Right. Well, because yes, God first. That was
Yeah,
very,
God first. Yeah.
that was very good. We just had something called the Super Bowl, And it was a big thing in America, as you know. And the thing that's called the Lombardi Trophy, which everybody was playing for, right?
Mhm.
You know, so who was Vince Lombardi? Vince Lombardi was probably the most dynamic, winningest coach in the history of American football.
Yeah.
Even more so than Bill Belichick and other people. And he was
Yeah.
he was a taskmaster in a wonderful way. And we had a player one time come over and say, "Coach, I'm here. I'm doing anything, everything. I'm here for the Green Bay Packers. This is my life." And the coach said, "Well, you're not going to be able to play this Sunday." He said, "Coach, I'm here. I'm ready to give everything." He said, "Well, until you learn the following, you won't be able to play. It's God, family, and the Green Bay Packers in that order. Don't get confused."
That's great.
So it's God, family, Homestead, acting, et cetera, et cetera.
There we go.
In that order. I thought you'd like that. By the way, I have an acronym for your name, Bailey. Would you like to hear it?
Yes.
I wrote it during the break. Here it goes. Ready? Bringing awareness, increasing love, engaging youth.
I love it. This is great. I could do this all day.
Well, I'm loath to say the words we're going to say right now. Our time together is coming to a close. And I have 3 quick questions for you. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Number 1 question. Will you come back again?
Yes.
Thank you. Number 2, Bailey Chase, playing Jeff, Homestead, keeping the world safe. What is your most fervent desire?
To do well in God's eyes.
That's very big.
Thank you.
And I can tell you something, as my father taught me, you cannot fail.
Mm.
How's that for words of encouragement? You
Pretty
can't
good.
fail. If that's really your mission, you can't fail.
Mm.
And number 3, may I give you a hug in front of 508,722 people around the world?
Yes.
Let me tell you what hug stands for. Ready?
Oh, okay.
Heartfelt, unlimited giving. On the count of 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
I felt it. I felt it. I'm overwhelmed.
Thank you. Bailey Chase, Barry Shore, the ambassador of joy. Bailey Chase from Homestead. You got to see it. Everything you want to know is in the footnotes. Remember, follow us on Spotify and Apple. Share this with at least 5 people. You want to do 50 or 100, that's up to you. But at least 5 people. That way we'll touch 2.5, 3 million people around the world and bring them joy, happiness, peace, and love. So here is a blessing from Bailey and Barry. Are you ready? Go forth. Live exuberantly. Spread the seeds of joy, happiness, peace, and love. Go mad. Go make a difference. Bailey, don't go away.